Discussion on verses 1 to 36 of 36. Islam is a comprehensive way of life, and Allah, the Exalted, consistently demonstrates in the Holy Quran that worldly matters, such as trade and business, are inseparably connected to obedience. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 1 to 4.
Woe to those who give less, who, when they take a measure from people, take in full. But if they give by measure or by weight to them, they cause loss. Do they not think that they will be resurrected?
These verses illustrate that ethical conduct, in all aspects of life, is a reflection of one's obedience to Allah, the Exalted. Islam is not limited to rituals or religious duties. It extends to every interaction and transaction. A person cannot claim devotion while acting unjustly in worldly matters, such as cheating in trade, mistreating employees, or misusing resources. Allah, the Exalted, will hold every individual accountable for both worldly and religious actions. Therefore, it is essential to seek knowledge and understanding of Islamic teachings to ensure that one acts correctly in every situation, whether business, personal, or communal. When a person aligns all aspects of their life with divine guidance, they achieve a harmonious balance of mental and physical well-being, effectively placing everything and everyone in their proper context, and preparing sincerely for their responsibilities on the Day of Judgment. Acting otherwise, treating Islamic teachings like a garment to be worn or removed at will, amounts to worshipping personal desires rather than Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 25 Al-Furqan, verse 43.
Have you seen the one who takes as his God his own desire?
Failing to act according to divine guidance in daily life leads to misuse of blessings and results in imbalance. A person in this state often struggles with misplaced priorities, strained relationships, and mental and physical stress. Even if they experience worldly comfort or success, the absence of alignment with the divine code causes difficulties in both this life and the hereafter. In contrast, those who integrate Islamic principles into every facet of life cultivate justice, tranquility, and a balanced existence, and they are better prepared to face the ultimate accountability in the next life. This highlights that Islam is not a set of isolated religious duties, but a complete framework that governs all interactions, ensuring peace and order in the individual, family, society, and ultimately, the relationship with Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 1 to 6.
Woe to those who give less, who, when they take a measure from people, take in full. But if they give by measure or by weight to them, they cause loss. Do they not think that they will be resurrected? For a tremendous day, the day when mankind will stand before the Lord of the worlds.
The teachings of Islam make it clear that business and trade are not separate from one's obedience to Allah, the Exalted. In a hadith found in Sunan Ibn Majah, number 2146, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, warned that merchants who fail to act righteously will be raised as immoral people on the Day of Judgment, except for those who fear Allah, act with integrity, and speak the truth. This guidance applies to everyone involved in business transactions. Fearing Allah, the Exalted, entails fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions, and facing destiny with patience according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. It also encompasses treating others with fairness and respect, applying the simple principle of dealing with people as one would wish to be treated. In practical terms, this means that a person engaged in commerce should be honest and transparent, fully disclosing all relevant information regarding a transaction to all parties involved. A hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 2079, highlights that concealing defects in goods or other material aspects of a business leads to a loss of blessings. Similarly, acting righteously means avoiding deceitful practices that cause others to pay more than they should, as fairness and transparency protect both one's integrity and the well-being of the community. Righteous conduct also includes refraining from illegal or unethical business practices, as defined both by Islamic teachings and the laws of the land. If a person cannot operate in a particular business environment ethically, it is better to avoid participating in that market altogether. Furthermore, business success must be utilized responsibly in accordance with divine guidance, to support a balanced mental and physical state, and to maintain proper relationships with people and one's environment. In this way, business serves as a tool for preparing for accountability on the Day of Judgment, resulting in peace of mind in both worlds. Conversely, those who misuse their business success by deceiving, exploiting, or prioritizing personal gain over moral conduct will experience imbalance in both their mental and physical state. Misplaced priorities and unethical behavior lead to stress, strained relationships, and difficulties, despite the temporary comforts that wealth may provide. Such individuals also fail to prepare adequately for their accountability, which will result in far greater punishment in the hereafter. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, emphasized the dangers of dishonesty in business in a hadith found in Jami at Tirmidhi, number 1971. Lying and deceit not only corrupt the individual's moral character, but also lead to being recorded as a habitual liar by Allah, the Exalted, ultimately leading to spiritual ruin and loss in the hereafter. Thus, ethical business conduct is inseparably linked to one's spiritual development, societal well-being, and ultimate success in both worlds. Historical and modern examples show the consequences of unethical trade. Societies where fraud, bribery, and exploitation dominate tend to experience instability, conflict, and widespread mistrust. For instance, merchants who deceive customers or manipulate markets may gain short-term profit, but they foster resentment, damage relationships, and create a cycle of injustice that ultimately undermines both their mental balance and the welfare of the community. This principle holds true in modern contexts. Corrupt business practices often lead to financial scandals, bankruptcies, and legal consequences, which not only harm the individual but also disrupt the broader economy. Finally, the promise and warning embedded in the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, emphasize that unethical business conduct carries consequences beyond this life. Those who deceive or cheat may experience apparent success temporarily, but in the eyes of Allah, the Exalted, their misdeeds are recorded, and they will be held accountable for every action. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 4-6.
Do they not think that they will be resurrected? For a tremendous day. The day when mankind will stand before the Lord of the worlds.
Allah, the Exalted, then further emphasizes the importance of regularly evaluating one's deed, whether worldly or religious, to ensure they are behaving in the right manner. Whereas, those who fail to do so will inevitably misuse the blessings they have been granted. As a result, they will obtain an unbalanced mental and physical state. They will misplace everything and everyone within their life, and fail to adequately prepare for their accountability on the Day of Judgment. This will lead to stress, trouble, and difficulties in both worlds, even if they enjoy some worldly luxuries. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 7-9.
No. Indeed, the record of the wicked is in Sijin. And what can make you know what is Sijin? It is their destination recorded in a register inscribed.
Even with clear evidence of accountability, many people continue to persist in disobeying Allah, the Exalted, because accepting and preparing for judgment often clashes with their personal desires, ambitions, and worldly inclinations. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 10-12.
Woe that day to the deniers, who deny the day of recompense. And none deny it except every sinful transgressor.
Belief in accountability on Judgment Day is essential for maintaining both inner peace for the individual and justice within society. Without this awareness, people tend to misuse the blessings granted to them, such as wealth, health, and authority, causing harm to themselves and others. When individuals convince themselves that no consequences await their actions, they are more likely to act unjustly, particularly when they perceive that worldly authorities cannot hold them accountable. This distorted mindset converts blessings into instruments of oppression, rather than tools for service and benefit. Wealth becomes a source of greed and conflict, authority turns into a means of exploitation, and relationships are manipulated for selfish advantage. The result is not only personal turmoil and stress but also widespread corruption, injustice, and societal dysfunction. Chapter 29 Al-Ankabut, verse 36.
Expect the last day and do not commit abuse on the earth, spreading corruption.
Belief in Judgment Day serves as a protective mechanism, restraining harmful desires, instilling discipline, and guiding the responsible use of blessings. It reminds individuals that every deed is recorded, every right accounted for, and every injustice will be addressed. This awareness cultivates sincerity, humility, and responsibility, fostering personal balance and societal justice. Historical evidence and contemporary observation confirm that when societies disregard accountability, whether divine or ethical, they inevitably descend into chaos. Laws are bent or ignored, rights are violated, and oppression becomes systemic. Conversely, communities that uphold accountability promote fairness, compassion, and social cohesion. On the personal level, belief in accountability ensures that blessings are allocated appropriately, wealth is used to support family and community, authority is exercised with fairness, and relationships are nurtured with honesty and respect. This alignment with divine guidance produces a tranquil and balanced mind, allowing the individual to live with clarity and purpose. On a societal scale, accountability ensures the protection of rights, the administration of justice, and the preservation of peace. Where accountability is absent, imbalance reigns. Misused blessings, neglected responsibilities, and oppression fragment families, destabilize communities, and ultimately threaten the fabric of society. When accountability is respected, however, stability, harmony, and prosperity prevail, creating an environment where both individuals and communities thrive. Belief in Judgment Day, therefore, is not merely a theological principle, it is a practical necessity for life. It functions as a moral compass, directing behavior, ensuring fairness, and maintaining balance. It encourages individuals to evaluate their actions carefully, use resources wisely, and interact with others ethically, knowing that ultimate justice rests with Allah, the Exalted. Without this awareness, chaos, injustice, and imbalance dominate. With it, blessings are properly utilized, rights are fulfilled, and both inner peace and societal harmony are achieved. This belief forms the foundation upon which a balanced, meaningful, and successful life in this world and the next is built, demonstrating that spiritual understanding and practical wisdom are inseparable in achieving true well-being. Furthermore, belief in accountability encourages foresight, responsibility, and ethical decision-making in every aspect of life. When a person acts with the awareness that every word, action, and intention is being recorded, they become more conscientious in business, family life, and social interactions. It fosters patience in adversity, fairness in dealings, and generosity in sharing resources. Societies grounded in this awareness naturally develop systems of justice, mutual respect, and collective welfare, while individuals experience tranquility and contentment, knowing their conduct aligns with divine guidance. In essence, belief in Judgment Day integrates spiritual principles with practical life, ensuring that blessings, rights, and responsibilities are all appropriately aligned for the benefit of individuals and communities alike. In truth, every person who abandons the divine code of conduct revealed by Allah, the Exalted, in favor of man-made systems, does so to satisfy their worldly desires. Human-devised codes are inevitably shaped by personal ambitions, inclinations, and self-interest, whereas the divine law is rooted in wisdom, justice, and mercy. Those who possess wealth, influence, and power are often most resistant to divine guidance. Accepting the truth of Islam would require them to submit to a higher moral framework, one that imposes limits on indulgence, exploitation, and the pursuit of unchecked desires. Such submission would threaten their privileges and authority, prompting them not only to reject the truth themselves, but also to encourage others to follow their example, preserving worldly status even at the cost of their eternal well-being. This pattern is consistent throughout history. The initial opponents of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, were often the elites of Meccan society, those who feared that divine guidance would restrict their influence and expose their injustices. Their rejection was not due to a lack of evidence or clarity regarding the truth of the message. The signs of Allah, the Exalted, were clear before them. Instead, their opposition arose from arrogance, pride, and a desire to continue living according to their whims. Rejection of divine guidance is rarely a rational debate over truth and falsehood. It is often a reflection of the heart, revealing an unwillingness to restrain desires and submit to the authority of the Creator. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 10-14.
Woe that day to the deniers! who deny the day of recompense. And none deny it except every sinful transgressor. When our verses are recited to him, he says, "Legends of the former peoples." No. Rather, the stain has covered their hearts of that which they were earning.
The claim of the leaders of the non-Muslims of Mecca was misguided, as they were fully aware that the narratives presented in the Holy Quran are not merely historical accounts but living lessons meant to guide all generations. Through these stories, Allah, the Exalted, draws clear contrasts between those who sincerely obey Him and those who turn away in arrogance and disobedience. Nations that responded to their holy prophets, peace be upon them, with faith and submission were granted safety, honor, and blessings in this world, as well as eternal success in the hereafter. In contrast, those who rejected the truth, ridiculed their prophets, and persisted in sin, experienced humiliation, destruction, and divine punishment. These accounts demonstrate that divine justice is not confined to the hereafter, but is also reflected in the rise and fall of nations throughout history. Reflection on these events underscores that the laws of Allah, the Exalted, are unchanging. Obedience brings prosperity, while disobedience brings ruin. Such historical lessons are not merely academic. They reinforce faith, cultivate humility, and guide individuals to align their lives with divine guidance, ensuring that the mistakes of past generations are not repeated. By internalizing these teachings, a person is reminded that genuine success and peace, both in this life and the next, are inseparable from sincere adherence to divine guidance. Worldly status, wealth, and influence hold no lasting value if detached from obedience to Allah, the Exalted. The experiences of past nations serve as enduring proof that true well-being lies in submission to divine wisdom, pursuit of justice, and the consistent use of one's blessings in ways that please Allah, the Exalted, thereby securing a balanced mental and physical state, inner peace, and preparation for accountability on the Day of Judgment. Allah, the Exalted, warns that when a person allows worldly desires and ambitions to guide them toward disobedience, they become veiled from His mercy in both worlds. Such behavior disrupts the balance of their mental and physical well-being, causing them to misplace priorities and relationships within their life. Even if they appear to enjoy certain worldly luxuries, their inner state becomes one of stress, anxiety, and hardship. This misalignment stems from failing to prepare for accountability on Judgment Day, and as a result, the consequences in the hereafter will be far more severe. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 14 to 17.
No. Rather, the stain has covered their hearts of that which they were earning. No. Indeed, from their Lord that day they will be partitioned. Then indeed they will enter and burn in hellfire. Then it will be said to them, "This is what you used to deny."
The lesson is clear. The pursuit of worldly gain without adherence to divine instruction creates instability and suffering, whereas aligning one's life with the guidance of Allah, the Exalted, fosters balance, peace of mind, and preparation for the inevitable accountability, securing both temporal harmony and ultimate success in the hereafter. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 18 to 26.
No. Indeed, the record of the righteous is in Ilion. And what can make you know what is Ilion? It is their destination recorded in a register inscribed, which is witnessed by those brought near. Indeed, the righteous will be in pleasure, on adorned couches observing. You will recognize in their faces the radiance of pleasure. They will be given to drink pure wine which was sealed. The last of it is musk. So for this let the competitors compete.
These verses emphasize that people should not measure success or worth by the fleeting standards set by society, fashion, culture, or social media, as these influences only lead to stress, confusion, and difficulties in both worlds. True and lasting achievement is attained by seeking peace of mind through sincere obedience to Allah, the Exalted, and by correctly using the blessings He has granted, as outlined in Islamic teachings. This includes fulfilling duties, avoiding prohibitions, and striving for balance in one's mental, physical, and social life. By prioritizing the divine code of conduct over worldly measures of success, a person gradually draws closer to Allah, the Exalted, and attains a profound sense of peace and contentment that transcends the temporary pleasures and anxieties of this world. The more one aligns their intentions, actions, and use of resources with divine guidance, the stronger their spiritual stability and inner tranquility become. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 27 to 28.
And its mixture is of tasnim, a spring from which those near to Allah drink.
This underscores that genuine contentment and the highest form of reward are not found in worldly competition or transient pleasures, but in cultivating a life rooted in obedience, sincerity, and alignment with divine wisdom. Allah, the Exalted, warns that those who strive to obey Him and prioritize their accountability over worldly ambitions will often face criticism and mockery from others, people whose focus is solely on pursuing their own desires and ambitions. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verse 29.
Indeed, those who committed crimes used to laugh at those who believed.
When an individual chooses a path guided by faith rather than the expectations of peers, it often exposes the inadequacies or insecurities of others, particularly when those others have prioritized personal gain over obedience to Allah, the Exalted. Such disapproval is frequently expressed even by family members or close associates, as human nature tends to resist actions that challenge personal indulgence or social conformity. Societal pressures, including those propagated through social media, fashion trends, and cultural norms, can exacerbate this phenomenon. Upholding Islamic values is often perceived as an obstacle to acquiring wealth, status, or influence. Industries and platforms that conflict with Islamic teachings frequently discourage adherence to faith, amplifying anti-Islamic sentiments and creating an environment where criticism is widespread and persistent. Individuals who strive to follow Islamic guidance, which emphasizes moderation, self-restraint, and the responsible enjoyment of blessings, are often met with resistance from those who pursue excess and act impulsively, disregarding moral discipline. Attempts to undermine Islamic principles frequently target visible practices, such as the dress code for women, as a means of discrediting the faith. However, a careful observer will recognize that these criticisms are superficial and selective, revealing the underlying contempt for Islam's emphasis on self-discipline. For instance, professions requiring uniforms or dress codes, like law enforcement, military, healthcare, education, and business, rarely attract the same level of scrutiny, highlighting the inconsistency and weakness in their arguments. In reality, it is the disciplined, principled life that Islam encourages which provokes these attacks, as it challenges indulgent lifestyles and worldly priorities. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 29 to 33.
Indeed, those who committed crimes used to laugh at those who believed. And when they passed by them they would exchange derisive glances. And when they returned to their people they would return jesting. And when they saw them they would say, "Indeed, those are truly lost." But they had not been sent as guardians over them.
Yielding to societal pressure, and ignoring the commands of Allah, the Exalted, in pursuit of approval from others, inevitably disrupts inner peace. Such behavior misguides the use of blessings, leaving one in mental and physical disarray, unable to place everything and everyone appropriately in life, and inadequately preparing for accountability on the Day of Judgment. This results in stress, difficulties, and disorder in both this world and the next, regardless of the material comforts one may enjoy. Chapter 83 Al-Mutaffifin, verses 34 to 36.
So today those who believed are laughing at the disbelievers, on adorned couches observing, "Have the disbelievers not been rewarded this day for what they used to do?"
Therefore, a person must accept and act on Islamic teachings for their own benefit, even when doing so conflicts with their personal desires and inclinations. This can be compared to a wise patient who follows the medical advice of their doctor, understanding that the prescribed bitter medicines and strict dietary plan are ultimately in their best interest. Just as the patient achieves improved physical and mental health by trusting and adhering to expert guidance, a person who sincerely follows Islamic teachings attains a balanced mental and physical state, and learns to correctly place everything and everyone within their life. The reason for this is that only Allah, the Exalted, possesses the comprehensive knowledge required to ensure such balance. Human understanding, no matter how advanced, is inherently limited. Society's knowledge, derived from research, observation, or expert advice, cannot account for every challenge an individual may face. It cannot prevent all forms of mental or physical stress, nor can it guarantee the correct alignment of life's relationships and priorities, due to the inherent constraints of limited experience, foresight, and personal biases. Allah, the Exalted, alone possesses this knowledge, and has provided it to humanity through the Holy Quran and the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. This distinction becomes evident when one observes the outcomes of those who use their blessings in accordance with Islamic teachings, versus those who ignore them. Unlike a patient who may not understand the science behind their prescription yet trusts their doctor, Allah, the Exalted, invites people to reflect on His guidance so that they may recognize its wisdom and truth. Blind obedience is not the expectation, rather, He calls for reflection and understanding, which requires approaching the teachings with an open and unbiased mind. Chapter 12 Yusuf, verse 108.
Say, this is my way, I invite to Allah with insight, I and those who follow me.
Furthermore, as the ultimate controller of human hearts, the seat of peace of mind, Allah the Exalted alone determines who attains this tranquility. Chapter 53 and Najm, verse 43.
And that it is He who makes one laugh and weep.
Peace of mind, therefore, is granted exclusively to those who use the blessings entrusted to them correctly, as outlined in Islamic teachings. By aligning their actions with divine guidance, individuals not only achieve personal balance and serenity, but also prepare themselves for accountability on the Day of Judgment, ensuring lasting peace in both this world and the next. Chapter 16 and Nahl, verse 97.
Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do.
All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and may peace and blessings be upon His final messenger, Muhammad, his noble family and companions.